My name is Krista. I'm 32 years old and I never thought I'd be homeless on Christmas night. I spent 10 years in the army and sent almost every paycheck home. I believed my family would welcome me back with open arms after I returned injured. But instead, my mother looked me in the eye over Christmas dinner and said something that hurt more than any injury I ever got in combat. She said, "You're a burden. Get out of this house." I had nowhere to go. So that night I got on a bus and headed to my grandmother's farm. I didn't know what would happen. But when she opened her door, the 5 words she spoke broke the last pieces of my heart. As I tell this story of being rejected and trying to heal, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop your location in the comments and subscribe if stories about strength and resilience speak to you. Growing up with my mom, Diane, felt like walking on eggshells laid across a minefield. Her love always came with a price. "I bought you new shoes, so you better get straight A's," or, "After everything I do for you, the least you can do is clean the whole house." Nothing was ever given freely. Everything had strings attached. My dad left when I was 5. I remember a tall man with a kind smile reading me bedtime stories, but those memories faded as I got older. After he left, my mom would often say how much I looked like him, but not in a good way. "You have his stubborn chin," she'd say, annoyed. "Always thinking you know everything." The only steady love I had came from my grandmother, Eleanor, my mom's mom. Her farm was my safe place. I'd spend summer breaks there helping with chickens, baking apple pies, and sitting on the porch swing as she told me stories about her life. One day as we shelled peas together, she said, "Krista, you have a spirit that can't be broken. Remember that when the world feels heavy." I held on to those words all through middle school and high school. My mom's behavior got worse. Some days she seemed like she cared. She'd bring home my favorite ice cream or ask about my day. Those rare moments gave me hope that maybe she'd change. Maybe I'd be good enough for her to love without conditions. My siblings learned how to please her. My younger brother Tyler became a master at saying the right thing at the right time. My sister Vanessa, 4 years younger than me, figured out how to flatter her early on. "Mom, you look like you could be my sister," she'd say, and Diane would smile proudly. Meanwhile, I was always the stubborn one. The difficult one. The one who questioned things and had needs. By 18, I knew I had to get out. Joining the military felt like the perfect way to escape. It gave me a purpose and I hoped it might finally make my mom proud. The day I told her I enlisted, she looked at me with something I hadn't seen much from her: respect. "The military will be good for you," she said. "Teach you some discipline." What she didn't say, but I soon realized, was that my enlistment also meant money for her. As I got ready to leave for basic training, she talked about how tight money had been, how hard it was raising us alone, and how the house needed a new roof. Right there in the recruitment office, I promised myself I'd send money home. The recruiter had just explained how our pay worked, and I already knew part of mine would go to my mom and siblings. I thought that was what family does. They help each other. Basic training was tough, but it made sense. Follow the rules, support your team, work hard, and you succeed. That was different from home where nothing was ever consistent. I did well and graduated at the top of my class. On my first deployment, I set up an automatic transfer, $500 home every month. That was a lot of money, but I lived on base and my needs were simple. When I called home, my mom actually seemed happy. "Everyone at church is so proud," she told me once. "I show them your photos in uniform. My daughter serving her country." Those words kept me going through lonely nights and dangerous missions. My mom was proud of me. I thought maybe I was finally doing something right. Over time, though, the money she asked for kept increasing. The roof turned into remodeling the bathroom. Then Vanessa needed a car. Then Tyler lost his job and moved back home. I kept sending more. I took extra shifts and risky assignments just to keep up. When I did get leave to visit, the warm voice I'd heard on the phone wasn't the same in person. She often had a list of chores waiting for me or plans that didn't include me. Still, I held on to the small things. A birthday cake with my favorite frosting. A scrapbook with newspaper clippings of military stories, maybe one that mentioned my unit. Quick hug goodbye. I took those tiny gestures as proof that she did love me deep down. I just needed to try harder, give more, be better, and then I'd get the love I was hoping for. My grandmother, though, saw things clearly. Every time I visited her farm, despite my mom's guilt trips about it, Grandma Eleanor would gently try to make me see the truth. "Krista, love shouldn't be this hard," she'd say as we walked through the orchard. "You can't buy someone's love. And even if you could, it wouldn't be worth having. But I wasn't ready to hear that. I was stuck in the pattern. Serve. Send money. Be good. And one day I'd come home to the family I dreamed of. That dream carried me through 10 years in the military, 3 deployments, the loss of friends in combat and their funerals. Through all of it, I believed I wasn't just serving my country. I was trying to earn a place in my family. Trying to be enough. But I wasn't just serving my country. I was also trying to secure my place in my family's heart. How wrong I was. My final deployment was supposed to be a routine peacekeeping mission. Our unit had been sent to provide security during a humanitarian aid drop in a village that had seen conflict but was now considered mostly safe. I had done missions like this before and had developed a good instinct for danger. That day felt normal. We were escorting aid trucks into the village. I remember joking with Santos, one of the newer guys. Keep your eyes open but your finger off the trigger, I told him. These are mostly just families trying to get food. The explosion came without warning. Later they told me it was an IED buried in the road weeks before, likely forgotten until our convoy passed over it. I remember a flash of light, a loud sound, and the feeling of being thrown through the air. When I landed, I couldn't feel my legs. The screaming I heard felt far away, like it wasn't part of my world. I found out later that Santos had been killed instantly. 3 others in our unit were seriously hurt. As for me, shrapnel had torn through my right leg and lower back, damaging nerves and shattering my femur. When I woke up in the field hospital, the doctor told me 2 things. First, I was lucky to be alive. Second, my military career was over. The next 3 months were filled with surgeries, pain meds, and physical therapy. I had to learn to walk again using a cane and a leg brace. The nerve damage caused constant pain that the strongest medicine could only dull. But the physical pain wasn't the hardest part. What hurt more was losing Santos, having my career end suddenly, and realizing I now had to figure out a future I had never prepared for. During recovery, my mom started calling more often. Her voice sounded softer, more caring than I was used to. "We're getting your old room ready," she said in one call. "Tyler moved out again, so you'll have the whole space to yourself." In another call, she said, "The church group is organizing meals. Everyone wants to help our wounded warrior." It was a bit confusing, but I welcomed the attention. Maybe I thought this injury had finally shown her I deserved care. I began to picture a homecoming full of love and support. I imagined family dinners where I'd be the guest of honor. I imagined my mom helping me with physical therapy, being kind and patient. I imagined finally being part of a loving family. As my discharge date got closer, I made plans to come home just before Christmas. "It will be perfect," my mom said when I called. "The whole family together for the holidays. A real celebration." The trip home was hard. The military provided medical transport to a big airport. From there, I was on my own. Every step with the cane hurt, and the busy holiday airports were overwhelming. Still, I pushed through, excited for the welcome that waited for me. As the plane started to land at Pittsburgh International Airport, I looked out at the snowy landscape. After years in deserts and foreign places, the snow made me feel like I truly belonged. I wasn't just returning to my country, I was coming back to my family. Or so I thought. The first sign that things wouldn't go as I hoped came when I turned my phone on after landing. No texts asking about my flight. No missed calls. Nothing. I tried not to overthink it and called my mom. "I've landed," I said. "Oh, that's today?" she replied. Her voice didn't sound excited. "Well, we're all busy with Christmas stuff. Can you get a cab?" The taxi from the airport to the suburbs cost nearly $80. That was a lot, especially since I didn't know what my income would look like now. When we pulled up to the house I had grown up in, I saw all the decorations. Reindeer, inflatable Santas, and lights on every window. My mom had always liked showing off during the holidays. I paid the driver and got my bag. Walking with my cane on the icy path was painful and slow. No one came out to help me. By the time I reached the door, I was sweating under my coat and my leg was throbbing. I raised my hand to knock but hesitated. This was my childhood home. Should I just walk in? Before I could decide, the door opened. My mom stood there looking annoyed. "Were you just going to stand there all day? You're letting all the heat out." Just like that, I knew nothing had changed. If anything, it had gotten worse. Inside, the house smelled like pine and cinnamon, the smells of Christmas from my childhood. A huge tree filled the living room. It was decorated with ornaments collected over the years. Some were passed down from my grandmother, Others were expensive ones my mom bought to stay trendy. You can put your things in your old room, she said, already walking away. We converted it to a home office, but Tyler set up an air mattress for you. I stood there, leaning on my cane, trying to match the caring voice from her phone calls to the coldness I was feeling now. Just then, Vanessa came out of the kitchen wearing a holiday apron and wiping her hands. Krista, you made it. She looked happy and walked toward me. Can I hug you? I don't want to hurt you. A hug would be nice, I said, realizing how long it had been since someone had hugged me. Her hug was short but warm. It was something at least. Vanessa, the pie needs checking, my mom called. Vanessa gave me a small, sorry smile and hurried back to the kitchen. Alone again, I climbed the stairs to what used to be my room. The space had changed. A desk, computer, and filing cabinets filled the room. In the corner, there was a half-inflated air mattress, a thin blanket, and a flat pillow thrown on top. There was nothing that said this had ever been my room. No photos, no sign I had ever lived there.